Hey guys, it's another day and we're back on the GT6, the 66 GT6, and today we're gonna attempt to assemble the bonnet completely. So in the last few episodes we dealt with the wheel wells. That one was easier, but this one had a little bit more damage to it, or rust. So we took 2 episodes to complete this wheel well, but now that everything is completed on the bonnet, as far as I know, maybe there's little touch-ups here and there that I have to do, but in general the repairs are done. So it is time to take it apart, because the fenders now are held by clicos. All these parts inside are held by clicos. So it's time to take it apart, clean up wherever we're not gonna be able to reach later, and paint the hard to reach parts, and then maybe put everything together permanently, like spot weld. We have to drill holes here for plug welds on both fenders. Most of the places I believe we can spot weld, but here too we're gonna have to drill holes for plug welds. And once the bonnet is assembled, just in a long run, there are a few more repairs that we need to do on the body, like on the bulkhead and on the rear valance. But these I think we're gonna do once we take the body off the frame, because that's next. We need to take the body off the frame and do all these repairs from underneath and wherever we left for later. I don't know how much there is gonna be, but I'm hoping soon to be out of the metal work on this car and start the body work. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. Alright, so on this side I took off the fender, and this is what I'm talking about now. This area is gonna be really hard to reach, to clean up all this flaky paint and surface rust and everything that's left. Maybe there's other problems that we haven't seen yet, so we have to clean up all of that here as well. This, I guess, is gonna be, I don't know, maybe it's gonna be accessible from the inside later, but we're gonna try to clean as much as we can here as well. This is gonna be hard to reach, and that's what I'm talking about. There you go. So here we have a problem that we have to fix. I am forgetting about that. This is rotten at the end, and we also damaged it when we were taking it apart. So we just have to extend this a little bit. Here, this we need to de-rust as well. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cleaning, and I don't think I need to hold you here for that. I'm gonna use wire wheel and anything that I need to. So I'm gonna do that on my own, and I'll show you when it's done, I guess, unless something interesting shows up. So I'll see you in a second with an update, I guess. All right, here's your first update. I didn't go too far. I started stripping here. Like, I'm not intending to remove all the paint, as long as it is nice and solid underneath, which clearly it is here. So I'm gonna sand the rest maybe a little bit, and we're gonna paint over the paint. That's not a big deal here inside the bonnet, where things are not gonna be seen. Of course, for the outside, I guess we're gonna strip everything. But here I found the problem. This area here has been badly damaged. I can't imagine how that happened, but obviously it happened, and it is pretty rough. So on the outside as well, I stripped the paint, and there was body filler here. So we have all the way to here. Like, here we have a dent, here we have multiple dents and pushed out areas, and here we have also a dent, and it is pretty rough area. You can see it here, that dent from outside shows here as well. So probably I'll need to strip a little bit more of the paint here. And then we're gonna take the slapper and we're gonna try to smoothen this, because we don't want to use so much Bondo inside and outside. That's gonna be way too much body filler here. So we're gonna try to smoothen it as much as possible. And it would be great if I had a little mobile English wheel and I can just clamp it like this and just run it up and down. But I don't have one. Maybe I should make one with 2 rollers. Yeah, not now. I'm not gonna hold you. Maybe I can put you on time-lapse mode. I don't know. No, I'm not gonna hold you here. I'll try on my own and I'll show you the results. Okay, so some of it is cooperating with me. So this dent, for example, is already like almost out. I think I have the feeling that I need to put just a little bit more, but to be able to sand it like this, I need to be able to go much higher. But when I'm going much higher, here is this area turns out to be like really severely stretched, because this makes a big hump, and on the other side we don't have such a hump, which is normal. So basically this plane that comes from here, this panel, I know there's no joint here, but I'm gonna call this one a separate panel. So this panel from this line out is like one plane coming this way, and then at the end it should just turn and come a little bit in the other direction. So it's like a twist. This panel, like let's say this panel takes a twist, but here what happens is I feel it goes up and I have a big bubble here, and this is severely stretched here. So we're gonna have to shrink it. So I'm gonna pull out the shrinking disc and we're gonna go crazy. My shrinking disc is actually a little bit wobbly. Look at that. Very little, but that actually helps me because it acts as a very little planishing hammer. Actually, it pushes the metal too. Like it makes thousands of hits per minute, so it brings it in even before I cool it down. I have the feeling, I don't know, but I have that feeling, which is good. Now I can feel actually it's moving down. All the way to here, it went down. It started somewhere here before. Now I can feel that it's lower. This part here is still high. I have the feeling that this is pushed out as well, because here we have a nice surface, we have a nice plane, and then all of a sudden we have a step going up here. So maybe all this needs to come down, but that's a huge area and doesn't look damaged. Well, let me strip it and we'll see. So this is low, this is high, this is low, this is high, this is low. So this entire area here, I don't know what happened and how it happened, but well, it's gonna give me troubles. Okay, I'll try with the slapper again to bring this up, and here, this up, and we'll see if we're gonna have a big hump here or not, because on the other side it looks pretty straight line. looks like it's been stretched. This is how it needs to be, I think. So this here maybe needs to come down. You know what? I'm gonna try to shrink here and here and see what's gonna happen. No, I'm gonna keep shrinking here, even though there was no damage here, but there's a hump here that I don't like. So I'm gonna shrink in the middle. Wow, that's so much better. I actually love it. So now we have pretty much the shape. Now we just need to take care of the little dings and the little highs. But the general shape, I love it. That now there's no hump here. Here this is high, but this needs to be actually stretched. We can't shrink it because it's gonna take a shorter cut. Now it's taking a shortcut from here to here. It needs to actually go down and then up. So we're gonna use a hammer here to hammer this down a little to continue this line, because it used to go higher. This line actually, when I look on the other side, comes all the way to here. Let me show you. So depending on the light, but there you see the line here, it goes pretty much to there. And here it stops here, you see? So we need to bring it all the way to here somehow. So if we put the ruler here on the other side, we can see that pretty much the ruler hits the vents here, and it is pretty much a straight line continuing up there. So we can do the same on the other side. That actually worked pretty well. Okay, I'm gonna get back to this, but for now, let me try and bring this up and this up. I think it works a little bit at a time. We need more, we need to bring it more here, but here this is too low and this is too low, so I'm gonna try to bring these up first, and we're gonna do every detail a little bit at a time, but I believe that we can bring it back to a perfect shape. Okay, we're definitely making progress here. It's definitely far from perfect, it's definitely far from good, but we are on the right path. So I can still see the highs and the lows, so I don't even need to sand it. I can keep going with the planishing hammer and with the shrinking disc, and slowly we're gonna bring it back to shape. Not like, I'm not gonna hold you, I'm gonna show you some progress at some point again. All right, it's another day, because it turned out that that was a lot of work here, and it's still not perfect, but I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. and the rest is going to be a little bit of body filler. It's not that much. There's just few cavities here that need to be filled, and there was a low spot somewhere here, but in general it's nice and smooth now. It's not as chewed as before. So I also cleaned up the wheel well here everywhere from the paint, because this is gonna be easy to primer at least now, because if we put the fender we're not gonna have any access, especially to this here, this area. So I don't have any primer though. I want to use epoxy primer to seal the metal nicely. I'm gonna buy epoxy primer tomorrow. We're gonna spray the whole wheel well. And here I cleaned up, let me show you a little bit like this maybe. Yeah, here inside as well it's gonna require some body work. Still looks very rough on this side, while on this side it's much smoother. So after the epoxy primer we're gonna do some body filler here as well. We're not gonna do any body work before the epoxy primer. So I sanded this entire area here because it's gonna be hard to reach after, and tomorrow we're gonna primer it. For now I'm just gonna rust convert this bracket because I forgot before, and then I'm gonna go to the other side and I'm gonna start doing the same thing. We're gonna strip this paint, we're gonna strip here inside, we're gonna see looks like we have pretty much the same issue here because there's body filler, but on this side doesn't look bad, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna remove the body filler from here and we're gonna see what happens here. So I'm not showing you the entire process because it's stupid. It's just sanding and wire wheeling and all kinds of stupidities. So just wanted to show you where I'm at, and I'm gonna continue working now. Maybe I'm gonna show you another update at the end of the day. Okay, on this side I didn't go that far stripping the whole entire paint. I realized that that takes forever and I'm not gonna be able to finish until 2028. So I stripped the paint here and there's nothing serious. Like maybe it's a little bit uneven, like I feel a little bit of a wave here, but nothing serious. So I guess I can try and straighten it a little bit with the slapper. We'll see, but I can barely feel it. So good news, there's no dent or anything. It's not chewed up like the other side. So here the wheel well as well, I stripped it as far as I could. I used the orbital sander and just made sure that the paint is feathered, so it's solid there, so it's not coming off. And I just made sure the edges are feathered so it doesn't show through the primer and the new paint. And same here. This is all sanded. It feels smooth, so I'm not gonna bother doing any more than that. It's inside the car, so it's gonna be barely seen. So anyways, the rest of the car, I guess, I don't know. I think we're gonna have to strip completely, like to bare metal. That's my intention, but we will see. Before we do the primer though, I still have to do some welding I'm forgetting. For example, here where we made cuts so we can make this piece curved, I need to weld all over this flange here because when I drilled the spot welds out, I drilled too far in some areas. Like you see here, this is almost through. So we're gonna weld all these. Of course, we're gonna keep the holes for the clicos. We don't wanna lose those. I also have to repair the ends of these brackets. The other one is even shorter than this one, so we're gonna have to repair these ends and then we're gonna prime it. The fenders inside too, we're gonna have to sand them and spray them with epoxy primer because we scratched the paint all over the place. So we're gonna sand it nicely and we're gonna epoxy prime them as well before we put them on the car. So anyways, there's not much progress, but I want to show you a video so you can see where I'm at. So I think I'm gonna cut this video here, even though it's gonna be short and not much progress and not very interesting, but like I said, just to show you some progress here. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting and subscribing. Thanks for sharing and supporting the channel in all ways that you find to support it. That's great. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.